am very, very happy to start the new season of our webinars. This is, if you follow us, you know that this is the first webinar of 2024. And I'm very happy to say that the first topic actually attracted lots and lots of attention. We broke our own record with the number of registration, which shows me that it means that there is lots of interest for Cyprus, and lots of you are interested to understand what actually happened in 23 and what can we expect in 2024. So while we're starting, again, I really want to say thank you very much for joining me. I hope I was really getting ready and I gathered lots of interesting information. So I thank you. I will be very happy if you share with me now, where are you listening from? Are you in Cyprus? I can see that we have some listeners even from Vietnam. So thank you very much for joining. And I also would like to invite you for very active participation. Especially today, it will be more about analysis. It will be more about perception of the market, and it will be more about what happened and what is happening, okay? And why I believe it's important, because I'm a huge believer that the numbers, statistics, if you look at it carefully, it can tell you a lot of things. You look at the numbers, but if you are an expert, you will understand what is happening and why it's happening. And if you are still thinking about Cyprus, or even if you already made your move, I can see that we have lots of people from Cyprus. It's extremely important to understand what is happening with my investment that I have already made, or what is happening or what will happen with the investment that I'm planning to do. And guys, my God, today it's really amazing. So we have Sweden, we have Zurich, we have Tel Aviv. To all the people in Israel, I really, really pray that everything comes peaceful soon. Poland, Scotland, Cyprus, Larnaca, Cyprus. So lots and lots of people. Okay, Berlin. So without further introduction, let's go to our today's presentation. And today we are going to talk about Cyprus and Cyprus real estate market. And first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Anastasia Yianni, and I'm the CEO and partner of Cyprus Sotheby's International Realty. But I think the most important is that I'm a person who moved to Cyprus many, many years ago, and I'm the person who has been working in Cyprus real estate market. Today I had to change the number, and it's like big. So I've been working in Cyprus real estate market for 23 years. But I think the most important is that I'm really passionate about Cyprus. I'm really passionate about real estate and about life in general. And yes, of course, we will share the presentation if you are interested in it. Sotheby's International Realty is the company or the network of companies, probably the largest international luxury real estate brokerage network in the world. And I always mention it, and I believe that there is a huge significance in it, because we are the company that understands not only Cyprus, but we understand what is happening globally. I always talk to our colleagues from other countries, and I understand very well that, let's say, when you are in Sweden, or you are in Germany, or in Israel, or anywhere in the world, there are so many options for you. There are so many countries. So it's very important that when I present something, or when we talk to you about investing in Cyprus, we always look with local, but also with a global perspective. Our company is, as I mentioned before, it's Cyprus, part of Sotheby's International Realty family. We work all over southern Cyprus with all developers and private sellers. We are licensed agency. We are very, very multilingual. And I think that we do aim to be the best property experts in the market. And so what shall we discuss with you today? Today, we will share and discuss with you results of last year. We'll look at the number of sales, region, values, and again, there will be lots of numbers today, but behind every number, there is a reason. There is a trend, there is market dynamics. So once again, I'll invite you, if you have comment or if you have questions, please share in the chat. I really want today to be very, very interactive. We will also discuss with you, apart from the figures, we will talk a bit about what happened in 23. And it's quite amazing because exactly 1 year ago in January, I was doing similar webinar and I was making some expectations about 2023. So today we will look at the expectation and see, did it come true or what really happened? And also I will share with you my personal opinion, what to expect in 2024. Of course, connected to investing in Cyprus. Okay, so let's look in our market analytics. Those of you who know Cyprus real estate market, you know that in Cyprus we have a very, very good instrument that helps us analyze the data. All the sales contracts in Cyprus are registered in the land registry. And this data is open. So at the end of every month, it's possible to look how each area performed. Of course, it's a little bit tricky because there you only see the numbers of transaction. So that's why we will look not only at numbers, but we will look at many, many, many different parts. Okay, so if we look at 2023, the figures in numbers, they look amazing. Like if you see that every district performed very well. We can see that overall, if we look for all the sales, and these includes new properties, resale property, residential, commercial, land, everything, we see that the numbers are growing. We see that in general, the Cyprus market increased 16% compared to a very, very active 2022. Okay, so if we look at the property sales distribution per region, again, like now I'm sharing with you comparison between 22 and 23. So you can see that actually, and it's incredibly interesting to see that more or less all the regions are staying the same. Of course, we can see that some areas, they dropped. We can see that Larnaca actually is performing very well. And this is, and you will see in other slides as well, that this is not a coincidence. This is actually the beginning of the real growth of Larnaca area. So we can see that, let's say, there was a slight decrease in Paphos, slight growth in Paphos, slight decrease in Limassol, very good growth in Larnaca, and slight decrease in Nicosia. Then it is also very important to understand how the dynamics of Cyprus market. And in Cyprus, even though the country is so small, the attention to real estate sector comes from many places. And big chunk of it is domestic Domestic means that it's the Cypriots living in Cyprus who are buying property. And in a way, this is the core for a very, very very conservative investors. If you want to look at the core, this is the analytics that you need to see. And again, we see very healthy figures. Okay. If we look at foreign demand, and again, Cyprus attracts, I think that our webinar is a huge proof of that as well, that Cyprus indeed attracts lots of attention. Okay, so again, we can see very, very healthy figures. Now comes something again interesting. Like if we look at the sales distribution to foreigners in general, it seems like some areas, they're just stuck, they don't move. So Paphos and Limassol, they have been for many years the favorites for foreign buyers. And again, we see a little bit of growth in Larnaca. Now, let's dive even deeper. And here it's the first table when we see reductions. And these are the number of property sales to European buyers. So the buyers who move from Europe, not move, sorry, wrong word, the buyers who invest in Cyprus. And here we have the first minuses. If we think about why is that, and like if we compare not with the 22, but we compare with the previous years, the figures are very stable. It just like that last year, we saw huge increase. And when we were analyzing what was the reason, why were European citizens investing so much, actually, last year and the year before, I believe that there was one big additional driver that now is getting a little bit less, and that was the freedom, the first freedom after COVID, when people realized that they could move anywhere and work anywhere in the world. And in a way, this demand has already been satisfied. So it's not that there is not an interest, it's just like this additional interest that was created in 21 and 22, it has already been satisfied. And again, if we look at the distribution, we can see that Paphos, Limassol, Larnaca, Famagusta are always quite popular, even though Famagusta is not very strong. But here we can see amazing growth in Larnaca. If you look in gray, we can see the figures of last year. And in blue, we see the distribution this year. So we know it. We know that Larnaca is becoming more and popular, but it's the first year when it's actually taking the big chunk of sales from other areas. If we look in non-EU, here we have, again, even though 22 was extremely robust and extremely active, we still see growth. We have 46% increase in sales to non-European buyers. And here, unfortunately, one of the big reasons is still the wars in Ukraine and in Israel. So lots of people are moving because of that. It's also the traditional drivers which will stay with us, and I will discuss them a little bit later. And here the distribution again is quite standard. As always, Limassol and Paphos, they're leading. And as always, like Limassol is taking the biggest chunk of non-EU buyers. Okay, I will definitely come back to your questions, because like now I'm coming to another slide. And this one is extremely interesting because this information is not published. Okay, so the previous one, it was all about number of sales. But if you and me are in business, I always like to know, but what about the value? What about the money? What is the capacity of the market? And our company, every quarter, we produce and we publish an extremely interesting report. Because again, I am a huge believer in educated decisions, and that's why part of our offering to the community, if you can say like that, and to our potential buyers is very clear analytics. So in our report, we analyze only residential properties. We do not touch industrial, commercial, it's only residential properties. And we are showing the transactions in numbers, but also in value. And we share the data per region and even the price brackets. So you can see how many sales were in this, let's say, below 200,000, how many were between 200,000 and above. And actually soon, I think within next 1 or 2 weeks, we will publish the whole 2023. So it will be there. So this data we have taken from our own report. And this shows the money. What was the value of all residential properties bought in Cyprus in 2023? And here you can see that even though the numbers are going up, the value in some cases is going down. And you can see that if we look at in general for Cyprus, this year, 2023, the value of all property transaction was less than 4 billion, which still is very, very healthy for such a small island. But we can see that if we analyze values, then the market decreased overall 8%. And all the districts apart from Larnaca decreased compared to last year. Of course, like if we look in the numbers, not the percentage change, we can see that still Limassol and Paphos, they produce more value. But if we compare the growth, Larnaca performed better than any other regions. And by the way, guys, if you would like to find out a bit more about different areas of Cyprus, we can share with you our webinar of last year about the districts. But of course, we will do this year as well. Okay, so now because this part, the analytics and figures are finished, I bored you enough. Let me go to the questions because all of them were connected with this part. Okay, question from Stefan. Can anyone see the price of each property sold? No, it's not anyone. It's only licensed valuers and licensed agents have access to the data where we can see the values and the prices. How many residential properties are there in Cyprus in total? What is the turnover? I will not answer that as soon as we do the proper analytics and leave your request, and we will share with you our report, and there will be all the analysis of analytics. Oh, that's an amazing question. If I want to choose between Cyprus or Greece, stay with me until the end of webinar and I will share with you a bit more benefits of Cyprus, and then you will be able to compare it with Greece, but even better book your free consultation. There is a red button above presentation, and we will share with you very good comparison. So depending on what you're looking for, you will be able to choose what is better. Okay, I invested in Limassol, congratulations, which to me the best stable place in Cyprus to invest. Again, every city has its pluses and its benefits, but definitely, and within every city, there is also some more stable areas, but of course, there is always demand for Limassol, so well done. Okay. What percent of the properties are for rent to tourists and what percentage are for domestic occupancy? If you refer to the statistics that I share, from that one, it's not really possible to mention, but the price of the number of tourist accommodation is growing. And the same average price, of course, we are definitely will share with you. Okay, interesting question. What are main drivers for growing prices in Larnaca? Are you expecting growth in 2024, 2026? You know, here it's a question that in a way it goes always back to the basics of economics. If there is demand, the prices will go down until not until supply overpowers. And now in Larnaca, we still see that demand is more than supply, even though there is lots of construction going on. But I believe that we still have room for growth in Larnaca if you are looking strictly for the investment. Okay, so let's move further, and I will check the answers that I haven't answered because there are lots and lots more information that I want to share. Okay, so you know, of course, I don't have a magic wand or magic mirror, so I will share with you my thoughts and my expectations of last year. And actually, I just copied 2 slides from last year's presentation. So, last year, we expected that VAT would change. It was sort of inevitable, but nobody knew how and what would it be. And actually, look at this, because these were the proposal. And actually, we were all very worried because the proposal that was valid at the time of last year's presentation was that there would be differences between apartments and houses, and that the values would be for apartment would be just 200,000. So the first expectation was the change of VAT. The second expectation was all connected with presidential elections, because last February we had presidential elections, and all of them they were proposing and discussing certain things. And as you can see, all my expectations were connected with the regulatory framework for real estate investors, obtaining work visas, easier relocations for international companies, changes in naturalization law. Okay, so these were the expectations. Let's see what happened. Okay, and let's discuss how it affected or how it will affect the market in 2024. And ta-da! Yes, VAT changed. Okay, VAT changed, and actually we expected it, but at the same time we did not know all the details then. So I will tell you what is happening now. And if you are imminent imminently thinking about buying property in Cyprus, and you need to know that all new properties are subject to VAT. This is the rule since 2004. So all new properties are subject to VAT. If you're thinking to buy to get permanent residency, you need to buy new property. So of course, today is not the VAT is not the subject of today's webinar, but I've done the whole advanced webinar dedicated to VAT and the changes of VAT. And because the amounts are large, I will ask to put the link to that webinar. It's not in the open access. It's not on our channel, so you can only get to it on the link. Everything you need to know about VAT. But if we do it in brief version, basically now, wherever you are buying something, you need to remember the date. The date, 31st October 2023, because this is the date that will define whether you will be paying VAT with old rules or whether you will be paying with new rules. So one more thing, that VAT in Cyprus is 19%. But if you're buying for your personal use, and this is the only property that you're going to use personally, then there is incentive from the government, which is only 5% VAT. So if you're buying for yourself, then of course you can save 14%, and on it is a big amount of money. So if you're buying for rentals, it doesn't matter. You will pay 19%, so it doesn't matter whether it was before or after. So if the planning application for your project that you are planning to invest was submitted before end of October 2023, then you can get 5% reduced rate for the first 200 square meters on new building, regardless of how expensive the property is. This is very important, because what happens with the projects where the planning application was submitted after the end of October, we have very strict limitations, meaning that if the property is more expensive than 475,000, or if it's larger than 190 square meters, then there is no incentive whatsoever, because the new incentives only goes for the first 130 meters, and it's only up to the value of 350,000. So again, today I do not want to confuse you, because it's a general overview. So if you would like to find out more, either we can discuss with our experts or watch the detailed webinar for that subject. But remember that, because it's very important. And if you're buying for your personal use, it's important to know the date of the submission of the planning application. So this is the first thing. How has it already affected real estate market? No. Will it affect? Yes. Will it affect immediately? No. The reason is because the legislation was voted in June, and we had extension until the 31st of October. What happened during those months? All the developers were submitting planning applications. So now there are tons of planning applications submitted before the end of October. So I believe that for the nearest 1 or 2 years, most projects will still be calculated using the old VAT rules. So that's why the answer is yes, the change of VAT will affect, especially it will affect premium properties, luxury properties, large properties, because obviously they will be more expensive than 475,000. These changes will affect Limassol because, again, the prices are much higher, but the change and the result we will not feel now. We will feel it in the future when more and more projects will be sold. Okay, so that was the first. It was not the first change, but it was the major change, and that was expected change. The second change came completely unexpectedly. No one expected it. And you know, I've been living in Cyprus for almost 24 years, and it's really, really unusual when something is being discussed in the government. People in the profession, in the industry, they know. This one came completely out of the blue. No one expected it. And actually, I remember reading it, and we all called each other with immigration lawyers, with real estate industry professionals, thinking like, how, why? And not only that, when they changed the first time, then they realized that they made some mistakes. So it was changed again. Okay, but now what we can see on the slide, and of course we will share with you, this is what is valid now. So before the change, the applications could have been submitted after the payment of 200,000. Now, if you want to do permanent residency by investment, you need to pay full 300,000 plus VAT before you can submit application, regardless of the date of delivery of the property. There was an increase in the proof of secured income. So now, if you submit application, you need to show at least 50,000 for main applicant, 15,000 for applicant and adult children, and 10,000 for minor children. The good thing that you only need to show it once when you submit application. Next addition, all adult applicants must provide clean criminal record from their country of origin and the country of residence, which again, it was there. New thing that all family members must provide health insurance certificate. And another new thing, that the size of the property should correlate with the number of applicants, meaning that if you're a family of 5, they will not accept and they will not confirm permanent residency if you buy 1-bedroom apartment. Of course, in certain cases, the immigration might accept the rental contract, but this is something that we didn't have before. So the size of the property should correlate with the number of applicants. Unfortunately, in the new program, only the immediate family, meaning the investor, the spouse of investor, minor children and adult children up to the age of 25 can be part of the application. Since 2nd of May, no parents or parents-in-law are accepted as in the same application. They need to do their own investment, and they need to they have to go separately. And the addition was that now there are certain procedures that have to be done after you get the permanent residency. The first thing is that every year it's important to prove that you still keep your investment, that you still have your property. And every 3 years, you need to confirm that you have health insurance certificate, unless you are part of Cyprus National Health Care System, YESI, which is, by the way, fantastic. And also updated clean criminal record every 3 years. Investment criteria stayed the same, so it's 300,000 plus VAT, and it's still the same investment routes where you can invest either in residential property 1 or 2, or non-residential share capital of a company, and also the units of Cyprus Investment Fund. And the final change that was expected, and actually, if you remember, I was talking about it in 2023. It came late in the year. It came at the end of November, but there was a change for highly skilled foreign employees of companies of foreign interest who can now apply for the Cyprus citizenship after they stay in Cyprus for 3 or 4 years instead of 7. And the difference in years is connected with the knowledge of Greek. Now, for if you want to pass, if you want to apply for Cyprus citizen, you will need to pass exam, and it will be A2 after 4 years and B1 after 3 years. And actually, why I mention it, I forgot to mention how it affects the real estate market, but I will do with this one. So you know why it was so anticipated? Because actually, and this is my opinion, this measure will really affect the market positively. Why? Because there are so many companies who moved their employees to Cyprus, and they are all in Cyprus under the working visa. So many of them, they're like sort of, are we staying in Cyprus? Are we not staying in Cyprus? There was this uncertainty. With this measure of naturalization, most of them, or let's say many of them, they would want to stay in Cyprus. They would want to learn Greek. They would want to buy and rent property, not just for 1 year, but for many years in advance. And Cyprus, as a small country, needs end users. You know, whenever I'm talking about the property investment and whether it will be profitable, whether it will be good investment, I always recommend to look at the end user. Is there end user? Will there be people who would rent your property? Would there be people who would buy your property? And this change actually opens up a huge amount, a huge number of young, talented people who will probably stay in Cyprus now, will probably buy or rent property, will probably fall in love with the island and have their families, and so their children will be growing, etc., etc. So this part, I believe, is very, very positive for real estate market. I mentioned the change of permanent residency because, of course, it is also connected with the real estate market, because buyers from third countries, of course, the program is very attractive. So in the beginning, when there was a change, I was, to be honest, concerned that the changes would bring negative change, and there will be less people looking for permanent residency in Cyprus. But to be completely honest, I haven't seen this decline because of the changes. There were different reasons, but it wasn't because of the changes. So I think that this I would call more neutral change. Okay? So, what to expect in 24? Again, guys, I cannot predict the future. I wish I could. I can only use the common sense and my knowledge and my expertise. So, and this is what I will share with you. So my expectation is that because the biggest part of all buyers come because of traditional drivers of demand. And traditional drivers of demand in Cyprus are 4 categories, and they are still there, and they're still very strong. So the first part is the lifestyle. It's lifestyle when people are coming to Cyprus because of the lifestyle that it offers. And these type of buyers, they're looking for relocation or for holiday home. The second part of the drivers of demand, it's more business oriented, and this is taxes and business relocation. Again, it's still there, and I will share with you a little bit, but not in the details. Permanent residency is still there, and it might become more attractive. Investment is still there, and actually is becoming better and better and better. Cyprus as investment destination is performing better now. Why? Because we have more end users, and these end users have the capacity to pay more for your property. Thus, they will bring you better return on your money. So if we're looking, and I will do this part very briefly, but it's important, and this will answer the question that I read before: what is better, Cyprus or Greece? So lifestyle, Cyprus has probably one of the best ecological situation in Europe. We do not have any heavy industry. We have clean air, we have clean beaches, we are the sunniest part of Europe. Like, again, guys from Cyprus, support me that today the weather was amazing, and today was one of the 340 sunny days per year. We have very good healthcare, and if you reside legally, you have access to the national healthcare. You see, the local population is amazingly hospitable. And again, I'm talking as a foreigner. I moved to Cyprus all those years ago, and I never ever felt unwelcome. Cyprus, even though it's an island, it offers global connection, so it's very easy to travel everywhere. The laws are based on British legal system, which is precedent law. So again, it's easy to understand. In most cases, you know where you stand. And unlike Greece, in Greece, it's not like that. So English language, and not only English, but English language is widely spoken. So even your documents, even your agreements may be all drafted in English and not in Greek. So again, you will understand absolutely everything. But there are so many international communities, so you will find people speaking your language, which is, again, I think it's a fantastic thing for life. It's a very safe country. It's still probably the safest country in Europe. Excellent quality education. As mother of 2 children, I can confirm that. There are lots of lifestyle opportunities, and what I love about Cyprus, they're getting more and more opportunities for young people as well. Modern banking and legal system, excellent infrastructure, and very good tax regime. I'm not going to go into details for taxes, but look at this slide. Zero tax on passive income if you become non-domicile. This is the reason number one why lots of wealthy people move to Cyprus, to become tax residents. 0% property tax, 0% inheritance tax, 5% pension tax, 12.5% corporate tax. But if you are IT company, it will be much, much less. And there are so many incentives for salaries of highly skilled employees as well. What I believe would be additional drivers this year, nothing new, but I think that this year it will be more pronounced, in a way, more visible. I think there will be more company using Cyprus for headquarters, so more people will be coming, more businesses will be coming. I think the naturalization of highly skilled employees will be a huge driver for real estate, both for rent and for purchase. Of course, probably it will be with smaller, not with the luxury properties, probably with the smaller. And also, I think that in general in life, in the world, we have now this pursuit of happiness, for healthy living, and Cyprus will offer all this. Okay, so legal expectations, there are some legal expectations, But if you can see, and actually I left, if I could, I would add even more question marks, because all these three things, they have been discussed, but I'm very, very skeptical, meaning that maybe even some of it will be accepted, but I don't really see realistically how it will happen. So the first change that most probably will happen in the summer is the change in the rules for small developments. And small developments in Cyprus, or at least now, is classed up to 12 apartments. So apparently, not apparently, sorry, it's not apparently, there is a plan to remove the building and planning permits and the whole procedure for small developments. And the idea is that it will speed up the process drastically. So the idea is great, the plan is great, but I'm not quite sure, and from talking to developers, at the moment, the prerequisites to go with this scheme are very strict, so I'm not sure how it will go. So we will see. The next thing was recently announced by the government, that the title deeds will be issued very fast. Again, I will put question marks, because there is still a huge backlog of thousands of properties without title deeds. So unless there will be different procedures, or unless the government will employ lots of new employees, I don't really see it's happening. But of course, if it happens, it would be fantastic. And the big question mark is whether Cyprus will enter Schengen or not. Again, I've been hearing about this for so many years. And even though Cyprus made huge progress towards the entry, I think that here I would still prefer to leave it with a question mark. So in a way, on paper, all these possible changes are great. But because I think that they are very big and difficult, I would still prefer to keep them with a question mark and come to my webinar next year, and we will check with you what happened and what didn't happen. And the final part, before I go to the questions, because I see lots of them, is the general strategies to invest in 2024. Okay? And if we split the strategy, then I believe that these 5 would be the most popular and the most used. The main one would still be investment in your lifestyle. And even though you don't really call buying your personal properties investment, I believe it is, because life changes. At one point in time, you might want to change or to sell. So we always look at the investment potential, even of personal properties. So this will be a big part of real estate market next year, properties for the personal use. If we look investment-wise, then the second big strategy is buy to let. And here where I used this phrase, which is normally used like when you buy one property and you rent it out. But here I grouped the various scales and various uses. We get lots of requests now for commercial centers or the whole block of residential apartments where the investors move the money from very volatile financial markets and they want to invest in bricks and mortar. So they want to buy something that will bring them good return. And in Cyprus now, even the long-term rentals more or less would bring you 5 or 6%. So even without capital appreciation, you are in a very, very healthy conservative scenario. And here we're talking various scales. It can be one apartment, it can be several projects. The next strategy where you can make money or how you can make money is, I call it early buyer strategy. And this is when we have investors who want to maximize their profits, and we work with them when we find them projects at the very early stage. In most cases, it can be even before the project is launched. Because of our connections with developers, in many cases, they would share with us the projects before they hit the market, so we can offer our investors best units. And here, the strategy is to sell before the completion. When the before or after completion, again, it doesn't matter, but normally we try to sell before the completion for the bureaucratically it's a bit easier. So we sell for our investors before the completion, so they gain everything on the capital appreciation. And generally in Cyprus, from the moment the project starts until completion, we're looking about 15-20% increase. So it's a very good strategy. Next popular strategy, but here we're talking about bigger size of investment, is participation in construction. When in certain cases you can become the participants in the joint venture together with local developers, and you get shares of the profit. And of course, flip strategy is still there when you buy old properties and you add value and then you sell them all. So if we're talking about investment strategies for 2024, these would be my top 5 favorites. And of course, you are invited to discuss your personal favorites and your personal ideas with our experts. And this you can do if you book your free consultation. And this is the picture of our wonderful team. And I always say that what we offer to you, we offer to you our expertise, we offer efficiency, we offer ethics, and we do it in style. So if you are serious, or maybe not even serious, if you're exploring opportunity in Cyprus, then let me share quickly how we work. So the first would be an online video consultation with our property expert, where we will discuss your goals. Is Cyprus suitable for these goals? What are the specifics and things to bear in mind? We will help you to prepare for the trip, what documents you need for the bank, for immigration, prepare the itinerary, do the short list, prepare everything for you to come, and even arrange for you all the logistics of your trip. When you're in Cyprus, even though, of course, we can do everything online as well. We are now, because of COVID, we are masters of online viewings and online selling. But when you arrive to Cyprus, we will accompany you with viewing and selecting properties and sorting all the paperwork, and we'll assist you and guide through the whole process of buying. And of course, we are with you as long as you use your property in Cyprus. We are here to help you with everything connected with the property. Okay, so I have prepared the buying process, but I will not go with it. That will be a bonus if you request the presentation. So I will go straight to the questions, because I'm always very respectful of your time, and I want to finish as we planned in 5-10 minutes. Okay, so let's start with the questions. So the question, where do you expect most of the buyers will come from in 2024? It will be I don't expect any drastic change in geographies. I believe that we would still have a strong interest from Europe. I would say that we would see increase of buyers from German-speaking countries, and I feel that Scandinavia and Poland will bring us more buyers this year. From non-European, I think there will be reduction of buyers from Russia, but there will be increase of buyers from Israel. And I think that the Asian countries will be more active this year. Okay, so what is the online resources to use to get data or analytics about Cyprus real estate? You can use the portal of Cyprus Land Registry. There you will see everything about the numbers. If you want to find out more about residential properties, then you can subscribe to our report, which is quarterly, and also KPMG and PricewaterhouseCoopers. They publish yearly information of the real estate market. Okay. What about the new law of buying the VAT? I shared these already in presentation, so maybe it was before. Okay, will there be any help for first-time buyers in Cyprus, specifically for young Cypriot? Yes, now there are more and more smaller projects with better budgets, and the banks are more willing to give loans to Cypriots. Actually, not only Cypriots, to foreigners as well. Last year was the first year where we had lots of purchases when buyers were using mortgages in Cypriot banks. I already mentioned that the conservative return is about 5-6%. Okay. That's such an amazing, I love this question. A lot of agents are encouraging buyers to invest in Larnaca because of the marina new development. Does this really going to drive prices up? It's not so much as marina new development. It's more about the development of Larnaca in general, because for many years, Larnaca didn't really develop, and now it's sort of it started from a very underdeveloped place, meaning they didn't have many good hotels. They had this huge area of seafront, the best real estate on the island. It was with gas and petrol tanks, so it was not developed at all. So it's more about development in general. And of course, marina is just part of the puzzle, because with marina comes more tourists, it comes more infrastructure, it comes more shops, more restaurants. So I would say that it's not only marina, it's development of Larnaca in general. And if, let's say, how we work in our company, we would always first check what is why a person want to buy in Larnaca or in any other area, and also what is the budget. Why Larnaca is also popular? Because at the moment it gives is it okay to say yes, the lowest starting prices. Okay. If you would like to get the presentation, then please just leave the note that you would like to do it, and we will share. Everything about VAT, about new versus resale. To be completely honest, it's possible. No, it's definitely possible to see this. We do not go into these details because we do the analysis in general. But if there is a specific question, when you book your free consultation, we can discuss it. Everything about. Very good question from Natalie. What if using for personal use, then decide later to rent out? This is connected with the VAT. So the VAT incentive is given to you for 10 years. So if you have been using the property for 10 years, then you don't need to give to the government anything else. If you change your mind before the 10-year is finished, then it's just like you need to return to the government the incentive that you received pro rata. In our presentation, if you follow the link, I give the explanation and the calculations of real life examples. What will be the VAT related to the plot? If you buy plot, just a plot, then there is 19% VAT. There is no incentive for the plot. Does getting residence status implies you have to pay taxes in Cyprus, specifically for capital gains? You know, here, Mr. Igal, you put several things in one. So, getting resident permit doesn't imply that you pay taxes in Cyprus, because you pay taxes in Cyprus if you become tax residents in Cyprus. And to do that, you have two options: either stay more than 183 days a year, or there is another route, fast track, and then it's 60 days, but there are lots of things. So if you don't live in Cyprus, then you don't pay taxes in Cyprus unless it's connected to your property. So you don't pay taxes on your income, you don't pay other taxes if you don't live in Cyprus. But if you own the property, then there will be some taxes. You will pay municipal tax every year, which is minor. You will pay sewage tax, which is minor. So this is, you will have to pay. If we're talking about capital gains because of property, then yes, you will have to pay regardless whether you have resident status or not. If you bought a property in Cyprus and then you sell it and you make profit, the government will charge you on that profit regardless whether you're resident or not, because the property is located in Cyprus. Okay, what about category F and those who applied a few years ago? Unfortunately, it's still there. Unfortunately, it's still the gray area. The applications have been accepted, but no permits of category F have been issued. Okay, that's an interesting combination. Canadian, Israeli, Lithuanian. Okay, if you have Lithuanian passport, then you're European. Oh my God, I froze. I hope I didn't freeze for long. What is the issue of the electricity? I heard it was very expensive. What about outages in the main cities? I wouldn't say that we have outages in the main cities. The cost of electricity depends on your usage. Also, like now, many new developments, they bring more use of photovoltaics, which will bring the electricity down. But the simple answer would be that we do not have issue. Yes, it's not cheap, but you can control it by usage, and also by using the photovoltaic. Okay, well, right now it's not so easy to fly from Cyprus to Italy or Spain without connection to Greece. There are no flights at winter time and the tickets are not so cheap. Well, that's in a way, the consequences of living in the island. But even via Greece, it's still, there are lots. And I believe that when the airlines will see that there is demand, they will not cut the winter flight so much. Okay. What is the rule with the title deeds currently? Is there any protection of our investment without the deed for new apartments? Very good question. I will try to answer brief, but to the essence. Okay, so if you're buying new apartments, you do not get title deeds, because there is a full procedure that you need to follow, or that the government needs to follow to issue the title deeds. However, you're fully protected if you, at the point of purchase, all the documents have been checked. There was a proper due diligence of all the permits, because again, the procedure is quite simple. So if you've done the correct due diligence, which in a way, if you're using real estate agents, we will do it for you. So if the projects and properties were checked, then if the sale agreement was registered in the land registry, you are protected. So this is the short answer. Hello, do you have people among you who speak Italian? We have associates who speak Italian, so we will be able to help. Okay, buy existing properties versus pre-sale from a developer, what is better? There is no simple answer. Both types of properties have their pluses and minuses, so it all depends on what you want. One thing that I can say that there are lots, with every generation of properties of construction, the construction gets better. So in many cases, new projects, they just simply offer better quality for your money. Okay? So while Larnaca market is better, I think I already answered. Yes, please follow me. I'm trying to grow my Instagram. How can I receive this presentation? Are there any funding program for tourism investments? There are lots of grants, so there are programs, but you will need to check it separately. Recording investment. Do you work with Quality Group Larnaca? Yes, we work with these developers as well. Presentation. Okay. Okay, I think that, wait and see. Do we get permanent residency or naturalization on buying a plot or only developed property? You need to get a property because you need to show that you are living in it. Okay. Natalie, the VAT is same for everyone. It's not depending on nationality. Presentation. The property increase in December. I wouldn't say there was any specific reason, so maybe I will check. Okay. If I have separate citizen but I'm Canadian, do I still have to pay taxes? You know, Canada is funny, so I will not be advising you for Canadian taxes. In Cyprus, you would only pay taxes if you live here, if you are tax residents. Okay. Are the new flats freehold or lease? I'm surprised that there is no title deeds available. The properties, most of them are freehold. And you know why there are no title deeds? It's simply procedural matter. Again, Mrs. Marina, we will be happy to explain to you everything during the confirmation. Okay, guys, there are still many questions. Okay, 5 more minutes. So if we don't finish, then I will keep the questions and we will answer on individual basis. The normal residency process is not valid anymore. Are there any gaps in the system? No, there are still. You have temporary residence with a permanent residency. It's just like now the people who are waiting, they have to extend the temporary one. I love Aphrodite Hills near Paphos, and that's my personal opinion. Well, actually, there are all the questions. So, thank you so much. This was probably the most active webinar that I have done. I'm so grateful to you for sending all the questions and comments. It makes it really, really real. It's like I am talking to you. And I always want to share the open invitation to come and visit me, come and visit us in our offices in Cyprus. Also, we will be happy to share our expertise and share our knowledge regarding Cyprus and regarding Cyprus real estate market. And I do hope that one day I will see you in Cyprus. So thank you very, very much.